My name is Laura Jane. What's my name? Laura Jane.
Hey.
What's my name?
Laura Jane.
Ooh, it's got that Rick James thing going on.
Yes.
What's happening in San Diego? Today's guest is Dairrick Hodges, San Diego native, and we will meet him in a moment. But first, this pause for the cause.
Walking around, face parallel to the ground, trying not to be noticed, to lose yourself in the crowd. Inside you're screaming, but you don't make a sound. Somebody made you ashamed to let your voice ring out loud. Opinions bind you, fear of standing out confined you, so you lock yourself away in a shed. You start believing that there's no more point in dreaming all the lies from truth you can't even tell. But there is something that you have inside, and through the darkness it really shines. You've got soul, babe. You got soul, baby. You see, your soul is like a garden that all your tears are merely watering. And when you make the choice to share your truth, you help somebody else to bloom. We are the minds that create the visions of a world we're all dying to live in. And so it's up to us to be the difference in the world we want to see. You see, change starts as an idea, then grows on us all. It's up to us to plant the seeds. So what will you say? And what will you do? If you plant the seeds in the right places, you have the power to grow up in a world that will one day grow from you. You, that will one day grow from you. Trust got betrayed, used up and then tossed away. Giving so much of yourself and they just take it away. Tired of struggling and fighting, running away, you've been hiding. Looking for someone to lean on, someone to remind you you're okay. It's hard to be yourself when everyone is someone else, and no one tells the truth about shame. And honest friends are hard to find, nowhere to go to ease your mind. You wonder if things will ever change, but there is something that you have inside, and through the darkness it really shines. You've got soul, babe. You got soul, baby. You see, your soul is like a garden that all your tears are merely watering. And when you make the choice to share your truth, you help somebody else to bloom. We are the minds that create the visions of a world we're all dying to live in. And so it's up to us to be the difference in the world we want to see. You see, change starts as an idea, then grows on us all. It's up to us to plant the seeds. So what will you say? And what will you do? If you plant the seeds in the right places, have the power to grow up in a world that will one day grow from you. Ooh, that will one day grow from you. Dark clouds just kept rolling in. Life gets stormy, guess you can say I was born a weatherman. But when the world around you is an ocean filled with pain that comes in waves, it's hard to notice anymore when it rains. 'Tis for the same. I dreamed that one day I'd change things, make a difference so those who follow won't go through same things. I used to scream in silence, it was violent the way reality hit back then. Learned I can pierce the quiet by filling pages empty and pens. I would write my way out of dark days, shed light on lies from those who claimed I'd never be anything. If anything, I'm everything. I ever got on my knees and prayed I'd be encouraged to be great by the few people who believed in me. Nowadays I walk on the self-paved pathway, dedicate my experience every day to positive change. As I move higher, my mission is to inspire, create the beauty in the world that I desire. Cause there is something that we have inside, and through the darkness it really shines. We got soul, babe. We got soul, baby. You see, our soul is like a garden that all our tears are merely watering. And when we make the choice to share our truth, we help somebody else to bloom. We are the minds that create the visions of a world we're all dying to live in. And so it's up to us to be the difference in the world we want to see. You see, change starts as an idea that grows on us all. It's up to us to plant the seeds. So what will you say? And what will you do? If you plant the seeds in the right places, have the power to grow up in a world that will one day grow from you.
Now, I have known you as a musician, but now you're doing some more far-reaching things in our community, and I want to learn all about it.
Cool.
So, welcome, Dairrick.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Super.
All right.
Thank you for asking. You're super nice.
I try.
So, what do you want everyone to know about the work that you're doing right now?
Oh, man. Such a big question. Well, my name is Dairrick Khalil Hodges, for the record. and
this is for the record, by the way. Did you catch that middle name, Khalil?
Khalil, yes.
Ooh.
It's important. The Khalil is important.
What is it?
It's like my actual middle name. And it's important to my work because it's the name that my mother used to call me when I was a child. And a lot of the work that I'm doing actually sort of surrounds our relationship. So I run a nonprofit organization called the SOULcial Workers. And you know it's us because we spelled it with soul. It's SOULcial Workers.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fly. And the work that we're doing, we're kind of a collective of teaching artists. And I run a theater arts organization that is working in mental health and suicide prevention through creative youth development. And so we write a lot of original productions, do some community events, and I run a youth program that teaches youth about their mental health kind of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And we do a lot of restorative practice work, giving youth an opportunity to heal from trauma, tell the story of the experience that they're living, and use what they've gone through to teach other people about ways to restore relationships in communities. So we do a lot of work in schools where our kids are talking about how to create safer schools and improve the relationships with educational institutions in community. We explore relationships like with law enforcement, kind of with community resources, and how we respect and relate to one another. And then we definitely talk a lot about our family relationships and sort of the dynamics and the experiences that get created and all the things we're taught to keep in secret and kind of what happens in our own houses. And I try my best to give youth an opportunity to learn about those experiences and what they've taught them about themselves and how they take the different pains and experiences that they've had at home and how they express them in different community settings. So it's a lot of really powerful, if you're asking me, work that we get to do with young people right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think social work and nursing, like, where would we be as a society without
Lord.
nurses and social workers? Like, these people are, well, you and your people that are helping you with this project. I mean, it's so much giving, and what a brilliant way to do it with soul.
Yeah, it's gotta be. You gotta have the soul. It's definitely my approach to the work that I do. I've had about an 11-year career in social services, and then before that, I was a child that was raised by social services. I myself was a foster youth and a homeless youth in my community.
Oh my gosh, here in San Diego?
Here in San Diego. So part of my work is definitely sharing my story and my experience with the youth that I work with in my community. I'm very open about the things that I've gone through. They've made me. And I think that anyone that meets me also meets my experience, whether or not you know it, because it taught me how to be who I am and how to be in the world and the type of person I want to be and the way that I want to treat people and the way that I sort of want to contribute to helping this whole thing work, because my experience coming up as a foster youth in this community was not a great one. I came up during a time where the conversation around, foster care wasn't even as like globally talked about it as it is now. I went to a lot of schools with teachers that had no idea what it was to be a foster kid, and with the social workers, we do a lot of anti-stigma work, and it's because of sort of all of the stigmas that I've lived under. I've always had to fight for my own identity and fight for my place in this world and fair treatment, because so much of my circumstance and whatever people perceive that to be sort of shaped how I was treated, shaped my experience. It was what decided where I lived, what schools I went to, what level of treatment I was provided, and it's important to me that people learn how to share the authenticity of what it is that they're going through, because I lived in a world where I was alone most of my life and ashamed of being who I was and the things that happened to me, and not having the support or the language to identify my experiences and really not really a listening ear to kind of guide me through them. It sort of pigeonholed me to a lot of negativity that I've experienced in my life.
What a wonder that you're able to turn that negativity around and see the opportunity for sharing your experience with these other humans that are going through difficult things.
Yeah,
like you did, because you've got that experience to guide you with that, and also to use the skills that you've been taught, and you're doing it all with these fabulous blue braids.
Popping.
You are popping.
Thank you.
You've got a fashion thing going on.
I try, it's a look. I like clothes. I'm an artist, so I'm a big fan of self-expression, and I dress how I feel every day. And so it's always bright colors. It's always layered and
well, bright yellow is my very favorite color on earth.
So. Featuring today. Yellow is also the color of suicide prevention. So
I didn't know that.
It is. You
mentioned a lot of things that you help with. Tell me how people can connect with the services that you're talking about and the healing.
Well, our website is SOULcial Workers.com. So it's the SOULcial Workers.com. And on our website, you can find out a lot of information about our youth program. I work predominantly with youth in marginalized communities. For those that don't know, suicide is the second leading cause of death between youth ages 15 to 24 years old in our country, and the third leading cause in California.
Wow.
So it's a very huge thing. It is the number 2 reason why teenagers are dying today is suicide. And as we can tell on the media and on things that are going on, mental health is just an issue that is kind of rising to the surface in our communities right now, and more so now than ever in communities of color and marginalized communities that are dealing with heavy levels of oppression and trauma. So suicide is a heavy issue, an underserved issue, a not socially accepted issue. It's a thing we sweep under the rug. Even a lot of people that are dying by suicide today, their deaths are being ruled as accidental deaths and not being properly reported. There's a lot around the conversation of suicide and mental health as a country where we stand to grow. So my approach, my contribution to that is teaching these youth healthy relationships, because statistics show that it only takes one positive relationship in your life to change the course of your behaviors. It only takes that one place that you feel safe enough to be yourself, that one person that you can talk to that can completely change the trajectory of a life of a youth. I established the social workers to be that one. So we're teaching artists. We go in I'm at a couple of different school settings right now, a couple of different community settings, and we offer creativity and healing. We do music and dance and creative writing, and I'm a huge theater fan, so we act a lot. We do a lot of role play with the youth, giving them a chance to just tell their stories, to learn about healthy relationships, to learn about mental health and the impacts of trauma, because I think it's important to create compassion around sort of our experience. Youth in marginalized communities get shamed a lot for their behaviors and where they are. There's a lot of labels going around and a lot of judgment about what comes out of communities like mine, and I think it's important for the youth that are coming out of those communities to first learn that some of what you're dealing with isn't about you. Some of it is systematic, some of it is relational, some of it is just sort of the world that you're living in, and those things have an impact on who we are. They shape how we see ourselves. They shape the way we feel about the world that we live in, the places that we're connected to. They shape the way that we behave. And so as a preventative measure, it's important to kind of get in there early. If you're asking me and teaching youth that it's okay to be where you are, and some of what you're experiencing is simply learned behavior, and we like to offer an opportunity through creativity to learn something new, to shift perspective, to get an experience of what it feels like to be really connected, to have someone that you feel safe enough to tell your secrets to, to talk about what's really going on in your world.
Safe enough to act and dance and sing and play with.
Absolutely.
Those things, you need trust.
Right.
For sure.
And that's the thing we're lacking in community. No one trusts anyone. It's even in our media messaging. It's all in the music that's popular right now. It's all about, the I don't F with yous and the trust no ones. And we're taught isolation, as a means of survival today. And I think it's important that we start to reteach community, and we start to reteach connection, and start to show people that it's safe to reach out, to connect, to build a relationship, because to be isolated it's a very different animal. And a lot of, I think, what we're facing in the world is rooted in relationships. We just simply don't feel safe around the people that we're around, in the places that we're at. We don't trust anyone. We don't feel like anyone will understand us. We don't feel connected. We're afraid of what our truth will do to our social status. If people know this about me, will I be accepted? Will I be cast out? And a lot of what we see is stems from that. People are just trying to survive. People are just trying to cope. People are just trying to find a place where they can feel comfortable.
And like you said, the youth, they haven't learned these things yet.
No.
Because they don't know it's okay to be yourself.
No.
And
we have adults that haven't learned that.
And you are told to hide certain aspects of yourself, like maybe you were learned or told that if you didn't reveal that you were a foster child, that you would get a different level of acceptance or something like that. Or people that have mental health issues are told, don't be honest with your struggles,
Right.
or don't say I'm a gay teenager, or all these things that are so scary for people to say because you're worried about how people will react. And you're right. The more like acceptance and bridges that we can create, that you can help create with, that sounds fantastic. So how do teenagers get in touch with you? Is it through the schools, or is it through community outreach programs? How do the social workers get out there to do the arts programs that you do with kids?
So right now, we're pretty grassroots. We're about a year into our programming. So right now it's kind of working word of mouth wise. We have 3 tiers to what we do. We do education, we do entertainment, we do engagement. And I always try to connect the dots in whatever arena I am. So whether we're producing a community event where the youth and families are invited, we do a lot of sharing about what we do. Whether we're in a school setting, we're doing something educational, running our program Camp Art, which is an acronym for Attitudes, Awareness, and Relationships Training. So it's a program where these kids learn mindfulness and compassion. They learn about mental health. They learn about healthy relationships. And then we write a play that we then put on for the community to sort of share their stories.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and the youth come up, they work in a collaborative team, and they come up with a solution of an idea that they want to share about what we can do as a community to improve relationships, and we write a play about it and perform it.
Is this an annual event?
So right now, yeah, we're in our second cohort right now. We've had our youth did a production called Live to Tell Your Story in December, and it was a great evening of spoken word and poetry and dance, and they talked a lot about the issues of teen depression and suicide in the Southeast and Mid-City community. And now those youth are working to turn that into a workshop that they're going to tour high schools with and do some educational work and some restorative practices led by youth. So they're doing some amazing things. I'm super proud of them. And right now we're recruiting for some youth to do our second cohort of Camp Art, and who knows what will come out of that.
So can we learn about Camp Art through the SOULcialWorkers.com website?
Absolutely. All the information that you need is up there. And today we actually just launched our GoFundMe campaign for the production of the workshop series that our previous cohort of youth is doing. There's more information about us, our program on there. It's GoFundMe.com/campart, and you spell art AART.
All right. And now, so it's funded physically by the community. Is it a nonprofit status?
Yeah, so we're a nonprofit. Like I said, we're grassroots. So we just we were piloted last fall for we wrote our first grant, and we were approved through the Jacob Center of Neighborhood Innovations. So they co-piloted us.
Which neighborhood?
Jacob Center for Neighborhood Innovations. It's located in Eastern San Diego.
Okay.
And so we wrote a grant for them, and they helped get us on our feet. And so now we're really being ran by community donations. We have a couple of grant applications out that we're awaiting response of, but now we're just fundraising right now to sort of get the vision of the youth workout. Camp Art is kind of my favorite project that we're doing right now because it's really youth driven. We get together and hold space for the youth to decide the way that they want their world to look, and then we work on building that and giving them a platform to sort of share their stories and their ideas with people that need to hear them. A lot of problem that's going on systematically with youth in education and, the juvenile justice. No one's talking to them directly about how they feel and what they're experiencing and about what they want for themselves and for their community.
So it's just kind of a cold system, like governmental, this is the process, this is what you get, right. And then there's no real emotional support.
Right. We speak around them and we speak at them, but we don't really speak to them.
Right.
And we don't really listen when they speak. And I think that the arts is a great place to put truth, because art is universal truth. And
it doesn't work if it isn't true.
Yeah, it's the place where we all understand. And I think artistically is like kind of sort of the best way to have difficult conversations, because it's hard to just sit down at a dinner table and talk about racism, but I can write a really strong poem about it and say everything that I need to say, and you can hear in that what you need to hear without feeling, attacked or ashamed or afraid to speak your truth like we're taught to be socially in conversation. And I think that right now, especially with our social and political climate, people are really looking to the arts for that honest expression. It's the reason why we all go to concerts. It's the reason why we all listen to music, because it's the place where it's acceptable to be vulnerable. And right now in our world, we need a lot of more safety to be vulnerable, to be honest, to have truthful conversations and make authentic connections. And I think that the youth that we're working with are doing such a beautiful job at displaying their authenticity. We've met with city council members, and we've done youth-led town halls, and we have community events where we just try to create a real platform for these youth to say what they need to say and be seen and be heard and be validated in their experiences and have their truths do something to plant a seed to grow change. I think that our greatest hope right now is the youth. I think that they're the next generation coming up. They're going to be the ones to really do it. You know?
They're pretty good at smelling out bullshit.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I'm very delighted about that.
We need it because there's a lot of bullshit going on.
No kidding. So, okay, if people want to help you with this other than the GoFundMe, are you accepting volunteers? Is there a vetting process? Do you need other humans to help you with this besides the financial thing? Or do you have all that in place and you're more looking for financial contributions?
Always, always, always looking for people. I am of community for community. My community raised me, and my community continues to raise me. So I don't do anything without them. I'm always, whenever I have events, I'm always grabbing people to, lend their artistic gifts.
So maybe if actors or dance instructors or media arts like painting or photography.
We're looking for graphic and set designers. We are writers. Yeah, writers, of course. We're building our next cohort of camp art, so we'll be putting out an audition call for teaching artists, and we're really looking for artists that have soul, and by that we mean lived experience, a connection to the issues that we're trying to take effect in. So I'm proud to say that we have a supreme team of artists of color. We've got the LGBT community in there, we've got the Muslim community in there, we've got the Asian, the Black American community. We have everyone is at the table, and we really aim to kind of build this well-rounded artistic cohort of people that have something to say and want to help the youth figure out what it is that they need to say and how they want to say it. And we use art to translate all of our conversation to a way that everyone can hear it. So no matter where you sit on the issue, especially, there are a lot of people that don't have a lens on what mental health looks like. There's a lot of people that have learned it only through stigma and the ways that we talk about it culturally. And there are people that have lived experience, and there are a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of older people that are living with depression and anxiety and suicidal ideation, and people that just simply don't know how to talk about it. And if we do nothing else but teach people language and create safety in conversation, I think it's a job well done.
Well, I must say, I'm very proud of you right now, Dairrick.
I appreciate you. You seen baby me coming up in the streets.
And this is a very ambitious project.
Yes.
And like you said, marginalized communities really need that support. Mm-hmm. More than ever, and to infuse the arts in with that and help youth feel powerful no matter where their background has taken them and any kind of helplessness that they may have felt, that there are people that give a crap about them out there. and they're right next to them, and they don't even know it.
Absolutely.
And then to build friendships through the arts. I mean, I gotta tell you, being in theater and choir and stuff in high school was totally like, phew, I'm not the only weirdo in town.
Oh my God, it
You know
saved
what I mean?
my life. Severely bullied in school. And the friends that I made in theater and in choir and band and whatever like weird not socially accepted thing I was doing at the time are friends that I still have today.
And all of those things turn out to be totally socially acceptable.
Right.
The arts is, everybody needs the arts.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to hang out with the artists. They love us. And the same things kids used to make fun of me for are the things they all love me for now. And so I love when those things come full circle, and it's all because I learned young, having access to the arts, to be authentic. I learned that it was okay to be myself. And so now when I walk around in my own skin in the adult world where everybody's trying to be someone else, you know, people respect authenticity. They crave it. People are drawn to it in a room. And those of us that have the privilege to be ourselves, I think, have a responsibility to hold that space for others. And I think that's all I'm trying to do, you know?
Yeah, and encourage people. Get your yayas out.
Just be you, boo.
Because no one can do you like you.
Definitely not.
Hey, Hapnyn fans. We've got a great festival coming up that you need to learn about. We're even going to have a booth there. So look for the HAPNYN Hapnyn booth at the Americana Music Fest. That's coming up on Friday, September 14th. It's food, it's beer, it's horseshoes, it's 3 stages and 10 bands. You can buy tickets at the door for $10. From 4 o'clock till 9 o'clock is when the Americana Music Fest is going off. And it's happening outdoors at the Heritage Ranch, 450 Quail Gardens Drive in Encinitas. They're kicking off their 30th year anniversary weekend with this fantastic live music event with beer, food, and horseshoes too. They've got great bands. They've got Oliver James, Ian McCarter, Lunch Ladies, Baja Blues Boys, Wythward, Calamity, Grand Canyon Sundown, Katie Lee, Sweet Mischief, and Eve Sellis. It's sponsored by Pizza Port, Play Like a Girl Records, Listen Local, lots of other vendors. Check it out. You are going to have a great time at the Americana Music Fest. See you September 14th. Well, I want to reiterate again. I am speaking with the wonderful and talented Dairrick Hodges.
Hey.
And if you go to SOULcialWorkers.com, that's SOULcialWorkers.com.
Yes.
You can find out everything that we just were talking about and so much more. And if you are someone that has soul that would like to contribute to this program, or someone that has money that you've just been wondering, gosh, should I give this to my cousin Henry? Or maybe I'll give it to SOULcialWorkers.com so they can fund their next production of a play written by the people who this program is serving.
Yes.
To get that up and running. Because theater ain't cheap, kids.
Lord.
So thank you very much, Dairrick. And please keep us in touch. If there's anything specifically later on that we can help publicize for you, we'd love to do that through hapnyn.com. And again, this is what's happening in San Diego. There's good things happening.
Hey.
And this is our weekly podcast from the gorgeous Thunderbird Analog Recording Studio in South Oceanside, California. And thank you to Thomas for making us chicken and rice and veggie tray and everything.
Shout out to
today.
the Southeast.
Yes. And thank you, Dairrick, for making the journey all the way from the Southeast.
Yes, what's up?
And we look forward to hearing more about your fantastic work, and keep up your own personal singing and I really would love to hear that again.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next Sunday with another episode of What's Happening in San Diego.
What's happening?